All right, well, this is another episode of Pixel Wankers. I'm Crow.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Tim.
Scott.
And today, I know we're going to talk a little bit about the Warcraft trailer, which finally launched. So,
This is the actual trailer, not the teaser of the trailer.
No, not 15 seconds. This is like 2 minutes and 4 seconds. I kind of want to have you Google that now just to see if like
A pure wankery.
A pure wankery.
Oh, it was. I saw him watch it.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I don't know. What did you guys think? Everybody's going to know what I think, and I'll go into like...
Oh, you hated it. I know, I've heard of all, but I'll let you tell everyone how much you hated it soon.
You don't want to know what I think. Move on.
No. This whole show is just us like, no, you don't want to know what my opinion is.
We all just skip.
Yeah.
Here's an opinion. It looks fun. I think, again, like, it didn't really tell me a whole lot about the story. I like the idea of the tribes and having the drama based on that. I like that they didn't go straight off like, yeah, you start in the beginning city and, like, you get just the same stuff as in the game and, like throwing it too much to the game because that's really not what people want to see, at least not what I want to see. Yeah. So I'm glad that they're keeping it more theatrical and doing it about the world and about the races and different in the world. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's what I think people want to see. And that's what's going to give you more drama. You're not going to get any drama from like, yeah, he starts here and he goes to the next place and then he's in this raid and it's like, no.
Go collect a quest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That would just be dumb and stupid. So I liked what it showed in the trailer from what they showed, but they didn't really release a whole lot of story to my knowledge.
No.
You know more about the world, so you might be able to tear it apart more, but...
Yeah, and I've avoided that. Kind of like I did with Star Wars, but Mitch, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree with Scott's points. Like, I think if they do the Marvel thing of like having nods to the fans, but not necessarily beating you over the head with it, like that's okay. It looks fun. It looks to me just a film. Like the CG is great. Like it's a little obvious in areas, like, but that's just because it's strange just to see.
That was a nice nod.
Yeah. Will I see it in cinemas? Maybe. Will I see it on Netflix? Probably. Like, I'm not rushing to go see it. Yeah. But I'm not a fan. That's the thing. That's the difference. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Because you brought up the CG thing, and when I watched it, I noticed that like the CG seemed a little patched in too, where like it was good. Don't get me wrong. Like they did a great job with it, but it did seem a little like. You could tell where the CG character was and where the real guy was.
I disagree. I've seen a lot of orcs in my day, and it was fun.
Well, so the question is, do you go that way, or do you go full Beowulf shit? You know what I mean?
Well, see, Beowulf was it was supposed to be like a CG movie, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be high-end CG, but it was absolutely CG. It wasn't intermixing anything.
No, Angelina Jolie was
with no nipples
herself, though, in CG, which was so weird, but... Would you rather see all the characters in CG?
No, the thing is, and I had like a couple fans like tell me like, well, they should have gone all CG. And the thing is that doesn't appeal to like a wider audience that's not going to be in Warcraft. Which is funny though, because Ian brought up that the orcs didn't look quite right, and I kind of called bullshit on it because the orcs look phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I freeze framed it, and he was freeze framing it through the trailer, and I was like, you know what looks out of place is the humans. And I think it was like a conscious decision because if you look, like the lighting that's on the orc is like flawless. But when you look at the humans, they look like they've been superimposed into the scene. Like there's one where they're in a valley and the dude from Vikings is like, why are you here? He's like, to save my people. And they're standing off. So you get like a great still shot and you can just see it. And man, the humans look like they don't belong there. Mm-hmm. And the orcs, it's like the only reason like I know it's not real is because I know orcs don't exist.
Whoa, dude.
I know.
Does it break the fantasy?
It breaks my heart.
I think you're right in that sense, but it kind of do you think it might be attuned to like they're trying too hard to keep everything high end? Like The Hobbit, I wasn't a fan of the first Hobbit because I went and saw it in 3D with the 48 frame per second thing, and it was weird. Like my wife, she did not like it at all, and she loved the first trilogy. My two friends were really annoyed by it, and I was annoyed, but I could see what was happening. So I was kind of like breaking down in my mind. And the CG on top of it, it was like too crisp. Like everything was way too crisp. Like the teapots, like throwing the teapots around the house. I could like literally see the layers like they were using. Like, oh yeah, that's in the foreground, that's in the midground, this is in like I can see them almost compositing. It's so clear. They didn't cement it in enough into the world. And I feel like that's kind of the same thing with what they're doing here with Warcraft. It's not cemented into the world.
That's always going to be the case, though, because it is high fantasy. You know, that you always get that kind of like, well, dragons aren't real, and they certainly wouldn't fly if they were that big, and so it's always going to look a little odd. And that's where a lot of people, like Steve, like just be like, hey, I'm just going to suspend belief and just have fun.
Yeah, because it's you're never going to cross the uncanny valley with something that doesn't exist. Because you're always going to be like, well, that shit's not real. I understand that it's not real. So something about it in your mind can be like, well, I mean, I know it's not real.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of hard. Because like if you look at me and Tim was making fun of me because I had the trailer freeze framed. And I was just kind of like checking out like the detail of the orcs and just like the vistas and stuff. Because I just love that world. But those orcs.
Pecs. Just tell it. You check out the pecs.
Dude, those pecs are phenomenal. I want those pecs.
You're working at it, bro.
Yeah.
You're working at it.
But like it was, they were seriously pretty flawless. Like, and I mean, there's a couple shots where like you see it, and I don't think that aside from knowing that there's not orcs that you could break that wall and be like that's not real. Like, because the textures that they did, like what was the lighting that you were talking about that they were doing? The skin lighting?
Subsurface scattering.
Yeah, where it's like penetrating through the skin and creating sort of like if you hold your hand up to a light, you can see through your the parts of skin.
To a certain layer,
Yeah, like the level of detail in hair, dude. Like it's just and I freeze framed literally. I went through the whole thing like because we were watching just BlizzCon on Friday, and it was just like this is the shit here. And then you get online and you got all those douchebags. It looks bad. Those look cheap. It's like what the fuck looks cheap about
One, it was not cheap.
No. And that's the thing, like, they said the same thing about, like, Jurassic World, right? People were saying, like, those dinosaurs look cheap or they look fake or whatever. And I strongly disagree, but it kind of harkens back to the same thing. I feel like it's so high-end, and you know that it doesn't belong there, and we've seen so many compositing things. Even normal schmo off the street kind of knows how the magic works a little by now, you know what I mean? And so it ruins the illusion for everyone. That's why people say it looks cheap, but it really doesn't. Like, some of the stuff that I think is awesome is where, like, they develop the whole skeleton structure underneath with the muscles. Like, you know, when you see the orcs, like lifting their asses up or you know, like kind of like punching the air or whatever, like, you can see their, like, chest, like, moving under the skin, and you can see the skin simulating on top, and, like, you can see the wrinkles happen. Like, I'm super into animation, obviously, and so that stuff is really cool. I like that they spent the time to develop like full muscle, simulations and stuff. I can't wait to see like some behind the scenes stuff. But
you know, one of the things that really like stuck out to me, and you don't get a lot of story like you guys were saying. I absolutely love the fact that they're going to show both sides of the game, because when you play the game, you choose the Alliance or you choose the Horde, and there was like when Sam Raimi was attached. Thank God he's gone.
I love Sam Raimi.
He was going to
be on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
This was right after Spider-Man 3. He was attached, and I was just like.
And the orcs are going to do a blues like dance.
And that's the thing is, he was going to strictly follow the Alliance, and it's like, dude, half your demographic, maybe not half. You know, a lot of people play Alliance, but a lot of your demographic does play Horde. There's an entire other part of this world, and that's like one of the things I love about World of Warcraft. It's almost Game of Thronesy in the aspect that you have good guys on both sides and you have awful guys on both sides. And so seeing that in the trailer, I was just like, just loving it. And then the fact that Duratan, like, he's one of my favorite characters. He's the orc that's like meeting with him and stuff. Like, he's gonna be like the lead dude for this one. It's just like super sick. And then they showed like the green baby. He's like my second favorite character. Could be my first, depends on the day. But
so. What are you, Horde or Alliance? Like, you've probably had characters on both, but
yeah, I've got maxed out characters on both. I definitely lean more towards the Horde because when I was like most enthralled and like addicted to the game, I was like playing Horde like nonstop. But now I enjoy both, like just because you know I don't do any like the end tier content that much. Like I'm not in like a raid guild or anything, so I do like the basic entry level stuff.
You're not in any guilds at all?
I'm in some guilds, but nothing that's like progressing like I was back in the day. It's like pretty casual guilds, and I just walk around and like enjoy the world that they've built, like the art, because it's just so cool. So.
Talk us through BlizzCon, dude.
Oh man, there's a lot. For one, I'm stoked because you said you're down to get Overwatch. Do you have an Xbox One?
No.
Okay, we'll get one.
Sorry, guys.
Midway
Someone just
might
send us
come
an
out with a
Xbox
game.
One.
Now you're gonna have to cut that too.
Oh.
So there's another video that you got to see, and they did the cinematic video for the next Warcraft expansion, which is Legion, and once again, it's just like Blizzard like kills it. Their videos like before the games are incredible. Like, what did you think? Like, you don't even like fantasy.
I've always had the opinion that they do really good cutscenes. Yeah. For sure. Like that, it's high res. They're fairly leading edge when it comes to like effects and just CG in general. Like they do really good animation and stuff like that. Yeah, I've always had that opinion.
Yeah, and they are pushing the level. Like I think when what was the one where the guy's riding on the wolf and it's like all snowy. Mm-hmm. There was an expansion. It was like I think it was the first expansion that came out.
Burning Crusade.
I think so. I want to say. I don't know. There was like one where they had a bunch of snow parts and stuff in the trailer for the game.
It was Frozen Throne, but that's Warcraft 3, and it was a good one.
Well, he's talking about snow, which makes me instantly think of Wrath of the Lich King, but there's no wolf. No. There's no fucking wolf.
Oh, well, maybe I'm thinking that.
There's a dragon. There's a dragon comes out of the ice.
I think I'm thinking Wrath of the Lich King. And you could tell, like, at that point, like, what?
Wrath of the Lynchpin?
Wrath of the Lich King?
You called him the Lynch King.
He's the Lynch King.
Not lynching people, dude.
Well, so
this is also not lynching people.
Lich King. Well, so I think it was in that particular trailer that had like the snow effects, and that was like at the time it was cutting edge. Like they hadn't seen like really great snow effects besides just like laying down some particles and having them flutter down. They didn't see like real stuff like collecting on people's faces and things. So they have been like leading that kind of animation and graphics.
Yeah, so other stuff from BlizzCon was like that they're kind of overhauling World of Warcraft. Won't go into that too much. New heroes for that Heroes of the Storm game, but Overwatch. I think Overwatch is something that even if you're not a Blizzard fan, it looks like it's going to be pretty accessible to like everybody. Like if you like shooters, everybody that was like watching it, and I never played Team Fortress 2, but him and Ian, you guys were all like saying like it looks like Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Like,
and you just described me in a nutshell. I'm not a Blizzard fan. I'm a fan of shooters, and I was like, this looks pretty good. Like I'm down for it. It's a fun art style. Like I watched the high res, like just their sort of intro trailer or whatever, and there's a lot of story in there, and it looks like a Pixar film pretty much. It's got that kind of comedy to it, and then each character has their own backstory and stuff like that, and it looks really fun. Like the gameplay looks really solid and stuff.
Well, that's something that
Tim.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be quiet over here.
No.
It's like staring at you.
No, nobody puts baby in the corner.
No, I'm baby today. No, they have done really well with story. Like Blizzard does story extremely, extremely well, which is cool. I'm super stoked for Overwatch, but I'm not stoked that you guys are all console players and I have a PC that you guys should jump in and play PC with me.
Get a console.
I have so many consoles.
I know, and that's what's so surprising. Well, I know like you're just a gamer through and through.
I am a gamer, so the problem is like games were worth it up until the 360, and then after that it became they were making media centers, and then you could play games on media centers, and that was so dumb to me. You're doing it backwards. You're no longer making a console that you can also do media stuff on, and so that completely turned me off to the latest systems. So I never got an Xbox One. I never got a PS3 even.
Yeah, that's my reason too. No.
Yeah, that's probably it. But I mean, I've had everything up to the PS3 and Xbox One. Everything.
Yeah. And funny you should say it, because like having a PS2 and then switching over to the 360, like that was a no-brainer. I was just like, this is cool. Like this is cutting edge. Like it looks really good. But to get over to the Xbox One, I was dragging my heels for months. Like I was like, I don't want to spend like $500 on a console that, pretty much at the time looked exactly the same as the 360. Like all the fancy features, the Kinect drove me nuts. I thought it was the most worthless thing ever. Like,
You really don't like the Kinect at all?
I think it's dumb. I like it. It has
I think the technology is interesting, but it's
cool,
not necessarily like
the
for
implementation
games
for a console is no good at all. Like, you can use a Kinect and do motion capture stuff, which is awesome. Like, you can hack it, do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think I remember they were using it in like medical fields and things for like certain.
But like just for flicking through channels and like the games that they had where you had to run on the spot and hold out your hand, it's just it was bad. It was really bad.
That last Fable.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and like the trailer for it was like so like over the top. Like, you grab a skateboard and you scan it into Tony Hawk, and then you're like riding. And there's like, it's like that never happened. That's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, but we did it too. I mean, they did it with like the arrow thing on Link for a while. They didn't have that stuff capability, and it's like, you know, I guess they have to filibuster a little bit and like get like the audience excited about it, but. Yeah, if it can't really do what they're showing.
It was right at the time, like, the Wii was really popular, the PlayStation Move had come out, they were trying to corner that market with, like, motion controls and stuff like that. And I think Xbox were like, well, here's a brand new console, because I think they were the first to the party, weren't they, with the new console?
They were the last.
No.
Oh.
But the Kinect came out on the 360, and it was the first full body. You know, they're building it as like the full body simulator. They're not just grabbing your hands or on like the Wii or the Wii or the PlayStation Play. But we're getting your whole body into it, and we can, you know, like basically do all sorts of kinematic moves and things in the games using the input that you're giving.
But still, here's my issue with a Xbox One or the PlayStation console is there's been nothing that I can get on PC that has made me want to get that. Like, I got a Wii U because there are games that I want to play that will never come out for the PC, and I'm willing to do that. But Overwatch is going to come out on PC.
Yeah.
You know, all these other games that I'm thinking are going to come out on PC. But I have hundreds of games on PC, but my friends over here, the hell?
Well, and that was one of the things, like, the majority of my friends that I play online with are on consoles, and they've all upgraded to Xbox Ones. And if I wanted to kind of continue that fun and everything, I had to, you know. What annoys me is, like, you know, I buy, like, Payday 2 or GTA 5, and then, like, a few months later, the Definitive Edition. And it's like, I can't buy it again.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's bullshit. I hate when then I think that was kind of like when they first started doing that, where they're like, oh yeah, we're releasing just on this system, and then they all of a sudden, oh no, just kidding, like, we're actually going to put it on the other system and with more content.
Oh yeah.
It's like, are you fucking like?
Yeah.
Well, GTA
5 to kill you
was Xbox 360, right? And now you can get it on Xbox Home. They don't do the updates for 360 anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that makes zero sense.
My brother bought the 360 version when it first came out, super excited, and then when he found out about the other one, he he was planning to get the new system anyways, so he bought that, but he sold the other one, the 360 version, to my older brother, and it's like, luckily that kind of worked out. He still made some money back from it from my older brother, who's not as much into games, so he probably doesn't care about the updates, but it is really a ripoff considering like that was what they were billing it for.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and again, I bought it on the 360, which is fine. But I also got it on the PC, and now I'm getting all the updates for free.
Yeah,
I'm getting everything, and I don't have to upgrade to another console. And I haven't upgraded my PC for quite some time.
Yeah,
and I know there's a lot of people out there that cry, "Well, you get a PC, and every year you have to put a couple $100 into it. You can't play anything." It's like, no, I've had my computer for 5 years. It plays all the new games, and in another 4 years I might upgrade it, and then I can play all the new games for 10 years. Like.
Yeah,
I can see like why they want to just keep the games current. Like, oh, there's a fan base. They like a nice new edition of it, and you can trade in your old one and all the rest of it. But like, I don't know. It does feel like a bit of a waste when it's only been out for a year. Like if it's like an old PS2 game, or if it's an old like just a remastered thing, even some really old 360. I'd love to play BioShock again, like on Xbox One.
Yeah.
But like. Just like the ones that just come out, like, and then they just redo them again. Like recently, The Walking Dead was free on Xbox One, so I'm like the season 1 game.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna download this. Is awesome, and it's runs a lot smoother. But all my saves are on the 360, and so I've got to play through the whole thing again just to do like the later episodes, and it's just like, oh man, I've done all this. I just want to move my save over. That's all I want. You know, I don't care if having to get rid of the old one if that's how they want it.
Yeah.
But you know,
they did the exact same thing with Dragon Age Inquisition.
Mm-hmm.
They like released the very last DLC, and then not even a month later, they announced that they were doing a Game of the Year edition with everything.
yeah.
And it's like they came out with 3 DLCs that I would think were $15 a piece. So you got $45 right there.
Yeah.
And I think they did 3 DLCs that were $5 a piece. It was just like gear and random stupid crap, which I don't ever think should be DLC. I think that's bullshit.
No, I know.
Like, you just give me that. Like,
Well, that's what I actually like about Grand Theft Auto right now is on PC, you get all these seasonal updates and all this extra stuff at no cost just because you bought it the one time. Love that.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah, that's exactly how it should be.
yeah, Dragon's Dogma gave you like crap for hairstyles and stuff. And they gave you tons of customizations aside from any decent hairs.
Yeah.
And then they came out with like pack after pack of like hairstyles and stuff. And it was just like, you little bastards.
Don't
Like,
want cornrows?
On like a quick sort of side note that's kind of related,
Yeah.
I have noticed that pre-ordering, like the bonuses you get, has sort of died down a little bit now. You remember, like, you used to get physical stuff, which is awesome, and then you would get like every game under the sun was doing digital stuff.
Exclusive and baseball.
Yeah, but it was also like,
Yeah.
go to Target you get this, go to Best Buy you get this.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. But now, this is the eve of Fallout. I'm pulling my pants. I'm so excited. But
Pooing
like
your pants or peeing your pants?
A little bit of
both,
both.
a bit of both. Yeah. But the
he doesn't
but
believe
I've
in it,
noticed
but
that there isn't
just-
so much emphasis on like what you get and where you get it from. It's rather just sort of like, here's the game. Like you guys have been wanting the game. Here's the game. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the same with Tomb. I think GameStop are doing a gun for Tomb Raider or something. But it's nothing like overly stupid.
You
used
feel
to
like
be
you're
on-
getting cheated
Yeah.
if you don't.
And
go
I like
get
that. I like that direction because really, pre-ordering games, it does feel a little antiquated now. Like the
Think
fact
so?
that yeah, I think so. I think like
I think a lot of developers take advantage of it is what
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
And it's become such an issue and so many people are taking advantage of, hey, pre-order this game. A year and a half later, we might get it out to you.
Yeah.
And when they do get it out, another issue, which we talked about in the developer, is
Yeah, it doesn't
so many
work.
people, get stuff out and they have bugs and all this other crap, and you're like, crap, I just spent $60 to pre-order a game that doesn't work.
Was
when I
Call of
get
Duty
it.
having issues the other day? I think my friend was saying there was some
and,
bug issues
there's
with
always
servers
server
and
stuff day one.
And it's like, come on.
Here's
It's
a-
exactly what
This
we're talking
Diablo
about.
3?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got a great pre-order story. It was Arkham Knight, and I was like, oh man, this looks really good. They had the 3 editions. They had the regular, they had the one with the statue, and then they had the one with the Batmobile, which is like it was the bee's knees. It was huge.
Yeah.
It was like $200 or something.
Wasn't it
ridiculous.
like remote control at that?
It did actually move. You could transform it by hand.
Oh, it's
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to. The statue looks a little bit better than the Batmobile. Like, I'm going to go for that one instead. And it was like half the price. So I was like, yeah, sure. So I went for that one instead. And on the night of release, I went in and I was like, oh man, is anyone buying the Batmobile? Can I have a look? And they're like, no, they didn't get any. It never got made. And so all those people that pre-ordered that edition just got the regular game, not even the limited edition. They got the regular game.
Then you get the statue?
And a refund. Yeah.
You
But
got
I
the
had
statue.
I got the statue one because I had done the statue one. And so I was one of the very few to get just any kind of edition out of it
That's
because
insane.
like they'd never made the Batmobile. And I was like, this
I'd
is
be super pissed
but
if
that
I didn't
was-
get the special edition at least.
yeah, exactly. All that money. And I was like, you know what? This kind of sums up the pre-ordering business is like all that hype and everything. Even the Pip-Boy editions of Fallout 4 are like sold out within minutes or something ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like,
Did you get one?
I didn't. I'm so jealous of
Okay.
anyone who does. Like, hit me up. but like, it just that kind of summed it up for me. I was like, you know what? Like, that kind of that promise without delivering. You know, that kind of really.
That's GameStop though, man. Because
Well, it was universal. Like,
Oh.
I think Europe got them, but like, just America in general just didn't get it ever delivered.
Well,
This is
they
when you
didn't
moved
even
out here?
They didn't even.
No,
like,
Arkham Knight. It was like a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah. Okay,
They
yeah.
didn't have the news of that until the night before the game came out.
Yeah,
Like I remember
yeah.
seeing it and I was like, glad I didn't like get my hopes up for
Yeah.
that one because I would have been.
It
like,
wasn't
so
even
bad.
like, oh, here's the
furious.
limited edition that's the next best thing, because they were all gone. Like, you know,
That
it was
sucks.
like a regular game and a
Well, I think, although I don't know about this, but I mean, like, this is kind of a weird subject, but going into pre-orders, when I was, I worked at Game Crazy for a while, and you worked at
GameStop.
For a while. and you kind of knew that pre-orders were just pushing it. You know, you just push them. And I had like steady people who come in who buy stuff, and I'm like, hey, dude, pre-order all this stuff so I can hit my numbers. But they can always take them. It's like putting it into our account, but you can take it back out at any time. Yeah. And so I think that it's also kept kind of like that. If you're going to do something that's really special and really crazy, then they need to know that people are really in for it and back that with some serious money and say that this is going to be going straight towards producing these products. And they need to produce them. Yeah. But if it's just going to a pot that you can pull back out later anyways, there's so many people that would never pick up the game, and either the money just sits there and they count, or they just pull the money back out later and go, oh, I didn't really want that game, I'll just put it towards my other stuff.
Well, the thing that always made me nervous as well is I would pre-order like collector's editions, and if you don't get it on the first week or the first couple of days, the place just sells it to the next. Yeah. It's like just goes into the next, and it's kind of nervous because it's like if I don't get there like that week, it might not be there at all. Like that kind of money is just sort of in limbo,
Yeah, I had downloaded, or I pre-ordered the Dragon Age Inquisition Inquisitors edition. It was like this huge like snake leather box with like some crazy like silk interior, and they like let me know like a week and a half out. They're like, sorry, we don't have enough, so you don't get it. Yeah, and like I'm like
that's when Steve went nuts.
Yeah, I didn't like raise my voice or anything, but I was pretty irritated because it's like, the next day, like after it comes out, I look online and tons of people are selling theirs. Yeah, and it's just like, man, all these people get them and they don't even appreciate it. Yeah, and they cut it away from the guy that like I don't have $400 to drop on it. It was already I want to say it was like $180 or something like that. Wow. So it's like I'm down to drop premium coin on it. But then they don't even have the amount that they like take pre-orders for, and they can't screen it to see who's a real fan or anything. But it just sucks to see like the dickheads kind of like get them and like I'm gonna make a pretty penny. It's like
and that's the thing. That's why I think pre-ordering is just kind of there should be another. I mean, there is another easier way. Just buy the digital downloads. Yeah. Like pre-installing, that's another way. Yeah. Or just go into your local game store and buying stuff. Is it like as and when? It's not. It doesn't have to be pre-sold. It doesn't. All the bonuses don't have to. Yeah. The bonuses just really mean nothing.
But some of that physical stuff is like
the physical stuff's great, and that's why I wish they would sort of kind of go back to that. But again, it doesn't have to be a pre-order bonus. It can just be in the edition of it. Yeah.
All right.
Long story short. You guys should get a PC so we can play with it.
Long story short,
and that's
you're the minority here.
Yeah, join the majority.
A console.
Eventually, I'll get another console.
Just get an Xbox One then.
Yeah, how much are they?
I don't know.
They're gonna have a price drop.
Give me one.
It doesn't come out until like spring, so you've got a little while. The price will drop definitely like around the holidays. So, and maybe even again.
You're talking about Overwatch, not an Xbox.
You can probably find a guy in an alleyway with a trench coat. He's
full of Xbox One.
Hey,
yeah.
Xbox One. Bro, you want to buy a console?
The price will drop around Black Friday and pretty much all the way through Christmas. It'll be down by about $50.
I don't support shopping on Black Friday.
No.
I don't support that.
I've been in too many retail stores.
Amazon and whatnot, but I will not support that. And I'm so proud actually this year. So many stores are not opening.
Yeah.
Really?
Cool.
That's
and they're just doing like cyber
boycotts.
Cool. Like I think that's awesome. Like because I work. This is another tangent, but I worked in the retail industry for the longest time, and every year it would just raise an hour, and then finally they're into my Thursday, and it's like, come on, guys, you're my Thursday at 12 o'clock.
Last year it was
and then
6 p.m. Thursday,
and then 2 o'clock, and then 3 o'clock, and then 5, and then 6. And
Who
now
was
it's like we're open all day Thursday. It's like no bullshit. I want my holiday.
I think it was Macy's or something that were open all day Thursday last year, and I was like, that is insane. Yeah. Like to the poor people that have to come in and I've done it, and it's awful. It's really bad because it's a lot of hype over nothing. They just all storm in, and I'm like, this is like $10 off. You could just wait.
This is the Pixel Wankers retail episode.
But you go out on Black Friday, go fuck yourself.
But so let's move it along to some of the other stuff we were going to talk about.
I don't know what else we were going to talk about. You guys want me to talk about Blizzard?
We were talking about BlizzCon.
Stuff.
We were on Overwatch, so maybe I'll get a console or someone can get one for me this holiday for Christmas. Guys.
Yep, I'm going to be pre-ordering that collector's edition.
And it's the only edition on the consoles, you know? that Origins version, or whatever it's called?
No, there's a big old box.
Oh, you're getting that one.
Yeah, I'm getting that massive bastard with like the art and the statue.
But it's interesting that the
Blizzard.
PC has like regular and then this Origins edition, which comes with a couple of skins and stuff for your other games.
Yeah.
But the Xbox is just the Origins edition.
Which can I say? I love that Blizzard cross-pollinates with skins and all sorts of stuff with their other games. That's so freaking cool.
I don't know like how they're going to do that with the console stuff.
Yeah.
Because World of Warcraft.
You should just buy a PC because they do it with their PC stuff.
Why not just in World of Warcraft? So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he won't play any of their other games. Maybe StarCraft. I could see like in StarCraft.
Maybe StarCraft, yeah.
But
Orcs in Space. You want to go play a little bit?
XCOM's
isn't
the
that
only-
what it was originally called?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Orcs
Oh,
in
really?
Space.
Orcs in Space?
Have you not seen it?
It
oh
got
my
panned,
gosh.
though.
It's
Wait,
so
when
ugly.
did this come? So they had StarCraft originally.
No. They had Warcraft, and then they're like, we want to do a fantasy thing, and so they made Orcs in Space, and it was not received well. In the
Oh
slightest.
man!
And they went
That's-
back and retold
see,
it.
that's
to
the movie
StarCraft.
that needs to be made. Orcs in Space. the movie. They'll kind of like
I
run into
would
the
go see
Muppets in Space episode and they'll do a crossover Muppets with Orcs in Space.
You know what?
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
That's what we're going to talk about since we were talking about Warcraft and how it comes out next year, June 10th. Everybody, Warcraft.
I still think they should just release now. Just do it now. If they have the movie done, just release
Dude,
now.
that's stupid.
And it's
Do you
the
really
holidays.
think it's
People
a good idea to go up against Star Wars?
No, don't go to Star Wars. Just release like
That's
during
why they-
Thanksgiving. Release during
Dude,
Thanksgiving
why?
area. Why not? If you have the movie already done, just release.
Because it's not.
If
like,
it's done,
typically
that's the
like.
thing.
That's
oh,
what
it's
he was
done,
saying
it's
last time.
done.
I'm
Oh, is it
young.
done?
It's done.
Oh.
Then yeah, release.
Yeah, dude,
What are you afraid
that's
of?
not like a great time to release a movie. Like, oh, we're gonna go see.
Wait,
you
what
say
are you
the
battling
date
against?
was?
Krampus
June?
and
June 10th.
Dude, Krampus.
They put Warcraft in the exact same slot that Jurassic World had. So it's like
Summer blockbusters.
yeah.
There's a dead zone in like February to like March or April.
Which
like,
is weird to
nothing
me
makes
that
any
there's
money.
a dead zone
Yeah.
and nobody's taking advantage of filling that. Like,
Yeah.
It
nothing
used to be
ever does
legendary.
well.
Yeah.
Used to be
Legendary
awesome.
used to
Yeah.
love it, and that was Warcraft's second date. It was
Yeah.
going to be in March. It was going to be so like nothing was coming out, but they were like, "This movie's too good," like because they're super confident with it, and so
they're super confident, but they won't release.
But it's
now.
too good to release
See, this-
when no other movies are going to be
This
released.
is,
that
this
doesn't
is-
make sense.
This
to
is
me.
the real
Like
question.
marketing.
We sat on the second episode with Ian, and he said, wasn't it a power play that Marvel waited till DC released their date, and then Marvel put it right on top, and then DC moved it, and isn't that showing that DC's is a worse movie? I don't think that that's the right way to look at it,
no.
but I also don't think that they should have been. Well, the audience is going to be split, and if that's really what Marvel's ploy was, then go out at full bore. But like, no one's going like, what's wrong with releasing now? Like, why aren't they confident about it? Is it a shitty movie?
I mean, think about it. A lot of people are going to be buying stuff. You know, people are going to be getting ready for like the holidays now, and they're going to be doing other stuff. Star Wars is special. You know, Star Wars is something that like you're like fuck Christmas
Star Wars
shopping.
holidays.
yeah, we need to do they need to do a J.J. Abrams directed Star Wars holiday
hate you.
special.
But, no, I mean like seriously, Warcraft like it has a fan base, and it's not Star Wars level. Star Wars is like this weird cultural thing that it could come out whenever like it wants to, and it doesn't matter.
To be honest, it's going to be in cinemas in June anyway. Star Wars.
It
It's going to
will.
be. It's going to
It
be
will.
on like all the time.
Yeah, it's
Like
It may be a dollar movie by then.
Yeah.
But it really will still be in the movies. And like, why would you even want to put yourself within like a month span of that? Because as soon as that comes in,
Everyone's
you're
gonna forget
you're
about
done.
it.
You're
Yeah.
done.
well, but it's not in yet, so just put your stuff in. All you're fighting
But
against
that's
is
the- that's-
Krampus and
dude, that's
maybe
the
the heart
point
of
though.
the sea.
you're going to
Is that
forget
not-
about it when December.
In a
rolls around.
month's time, when Star Wars does come out, your numbers don't just drop off; they stop. Nobody goes anymore.
Yeah, but do you?
That's
Well, I guess
stupid.
I'm okay. Here's the question: do you expect Warcraft to be a lasting movie that's going to sit in the theaters for a month, like Star Wars probably will be? Or I mean, I don't know.
Nothing's
going
gonna
to
do Star Wars numbers.
Star Wars
Nothing's
is
gonna do
going
Star Wars
to
numbers.
stay for well over a month.
You
Warcraft
think so?
might go a month and then go to dollar theaters.
I think
I think it'll
Warcraft
go longer than
overall
that.
it's a smaller audience. There's a huge amount to there, but they're definitely not Star Wars, and I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'd be cutting themselves off at the ankles by releasing like they should have planned earlier and been like, let's do an October release. Or
Here's the
something.
thing, though. There is an unspoken rule about movie release days. Like I was saying, that Dead Zone. Then you got your summer blockbusters.
Yeah.
This time is typically Oscar bait. It's all about the Oscars. And it's all these sort of heartfelt pieces that are literally designed to win Oscars.
The red curtain.
But that's the way it's always been. Like, and I don't know why it just seems to be like statistically, like people just sort of don't really want to go see a big action film. Yeah, and then Christmas is your sort of fun, like Star Wars, and then also The Hateful Eight is on Christmas, I think. So
that's a great Christmas movie.
Oh, yeah.
And The Revenant.
But then,
isn't it The Revenant? Dude, that movie looks fucking intense.
I was actually wanting to talk about that, but
The Revenant.
I haven't seen anything for this.
Oh yeah, everyone's like blown up about that. This sounds cool, and I saw the trailer too. It looks pretty awesome.
Really?
But Tarantino did Django Unchained last Christmas, I think, or one of the Christmases, 2 Christmases ago. So that's kind of his thing, is like Christmas. But
is Revenant? Is that
Hateful Eight.
No, Hateful Eight.
No, but what's the new? Oh, it's Hateful Eight is the new Tarantino one, right?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of the layout, but like producers and directors and stuff always kind of try and stick to that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with money.
Well, I think like when you've got a popcorn flick like Warcraft or Batman or Avengers, when are kids going to be out of school? And when are they going to get money from their parents?
Mm-hmm.
When are those kids going to be able to rewatch a movie 3 times in a day? If they really want to. Summertime. So you're going to maximize this revenue because parents need to get their kids to go watch something, right? Yeah. Because they don't want to babysit. So it's a good time for entertainment. What did you guys do sometimes when you were in?
I never watched movies.
That's some bullshit. Going to see.
I'm always in the theater.
Yeah, going to see movies with friends during the summer was awesome. You get out of the heat, get some popcorn, get a drink. Like, it was the shit, man. And that's why Warcraft fits much better when it's going to be. Mm-hmm. And seriously, that cutoff for when Star Wars comes in, like, I wouldn't release within a month of that.
I think June is, like you say, I think that's almost the perfect time.
Yeah.
I think right at that point, Star Wars will just be a sort of a faint memory that everyone did.
So do you think Alvin and the Chipmunks is worried about releasing in December because Star Wars is coming out?
No, they're going to pull half that crowd.
We're going to get Star Wars' crowd into Alvin and the Chipmunks. You see that commercial? It rocks.
It should be a double feature. No, but like next year is a huge like comic book year for movies. There's Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse, Captain America: Civil War, Warcraft, like we were just talking, Batman vs Superman, Doctor Strange.
Well, let's talk about the costumes in X-Men Apocalypse. What you had pulled something up the other day.
All right,
get at it.
So, have you seen him?
I haven't seen him yet. I'll pop on my phone while you guys talk.
Yeah. I think Psylocke looks really cool. She looks like straight out of the comic book.
Uh-huh.
And then you look at Apocalypse, and this is kind of like old news for people who are X-Men fans. And he looks like Ivan Zeus from the Power Rangers. He looks fucking terrible. Like,
here's the thing though, that first release of the Suicide Squad image of them all standing, they look like a 90s TV show. They look really bad.
Yeah.
The trailer looked pretty good. In fact, I would think maybe this is maybe a shot in the dark, but it might be a better made film than Batman vs Superman.
Oh, X-Men?
No.
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad? I don't know. Maybe.
I could almost agree with that, actually.
Yeah, I think it'll be a lot tighter. I think
it'll be. I think Batman vs Superman is going to be a spectacle.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to watch it for the fight. No one's going to care about the story. And if it's anything like Man of Steel, where the pacing was awful, and they kept going, yeah, but why? Is it
I like that
shit
got broke, but I don't. There was nothing else to it that really got me.
Man of Steel.
Yeah,
I absolutely love Zack Snyder's like cinematography. Like, I agree with you because we've talked about this. Like the tone for Metropolis is off. It's wrong. But like, they made Superman kind of relatable, which he's not, and I think that's why I've always hated Superman. But it's the first time I've been like, oh, like.
See, I was completely opposite. I didn't relate to Superman at all. I thought he was cold. I thought he was like kind of douchey. I thought he was like.
What did he do that was douchey?
He was just sort of like didn't really say much. He's sort of like pounced about a little bit, flying about like over everyone, and then he was like
pounced about.
He did, and then he's like, and then he was like lifting up that iron oil rig or whatever, and he's like, I am the epitome of man, and he's all got like muscles and sweat, and he's greasy, and I'm like, What? Like,
So it's
this
like
is
he's being a douche because he's like his muscles are
It
tight.
was-
while
it was
lifting-
It was
intimidating.
a bit gym culture.
That's what
Like,
that sounds
It's a
like,
bit
right?
gym culture.
It was a little bit gym
All right,
culture.
so we've been going to
Okay,
a
wait,
gym. So like, let's think about that. If
Actually,
you're
okay,
lifting-
let me tell a gym story today because it made me laugh and I didn't say anything when you left. There's a guy that came around the corner when you're getting dressed and you just pulled your underwear on. And you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't get my ass in your face. And he's like, oh, yeah, that happens. And you laugh, and he turns around, and he just strips his drawers down. And I was like,
I saw it. I was like, dude, like, that's
he's
weird.
like, got you back. Anyways,
But-
go on.
No, think about it, dude. Like, if you are literally lifting an oil rig.
No, I know,
Hold on,
I know,
hold on,
I know, I know.
Let me finish. Your muscles are going to be
I
tight.
finished now.
And you shouldn't be called a douchebag while saving lives. Like,
No, I just.
no,
You can be a douche about
he just like
lives.
pounced over and like lifted the oil rig.
But here's the thing.
muscles tight, glistening. It's like,
Here's where
What a
Mitch is
dick.
coming from. Mitch, I think it's wrong to say he's jock-like or that kind of thing. It's Christopher Nolan making these dumb, not just dialogue decisions, but I don't know if he actually talked to the actors about how he wants them to be. But he makes some weird decisions in movies, and obviously he was trying to go for Superman as like Christ, is like Jesus. Like he even flies out of the spaceship like
Yeah.
crucified, it's like, okay, come on. One, he can't breathe in space. Let's be real. Like,
let's also be real. Nails aren't getting through those hands.
but
You may have to cut that part.
but I mean, like so that's the whole point that Christopher Nolan, directing, right, wants to make like this like Christ-like figure, and he's like so holier than thou, like, like, yeah, just throw your beer all over my face, and I'm just gonna sit here because I'm like so much better than you, like, but. That's the inside story to us.
Oh
like,
my god.
That's
Dude.
That's the inside story to us because we know who he is, and so it's like we feel for him, of course. And it's like, come on, get up, just do something. And I think it was a bad decision to make him wreck the guy's truck.
Hold on.
Because then
You
it puts him
thought-
at that level. Like, one, it was a stupid joke. Like, yeah, he goes outside and he puts the truck all over the like
Lamppost or whatever it was,
the telephone wires and stuff. It's like, first off, someone's seeing that. I don't care how big the blizzard is. Someone's seeing
Superman's
that.
being a douche.
Yeah. Two, it's,
That was douchey, but not punching the dude and fucking annihilating him. Like, oh, I'm better than you. Dude, it's not him saying I'm better than you. It's like, if I punch you, your life ends. I'm going to go break your fucking car because otherwise I'm going to kill you.
I mean, I think that it's a wrong choice to have him go mess up the guy's car. I think that it would have been better to
And
have
you say-
Spit on
and
him
it's a
when it
dumb
just
and
went
it's a
right
dumb
through him.
joke. It's just a
Crazy.
stupid joke.
It's
Like-
not a joke.
I'm just going to put you on the spot just a little bit.
Okay.
But you say you like the cinematography.
Mm.
Like, are you talking about the composition in scene or the color palette? Or the
I think the
slow
color
motion?
palette was actually kind of bad in this movie because we talked about the color palette. There's actually not that much slow motion. Go back to Man of Steel. There's not a lot of slow motion. I've watched that movie a bunch of times. But I mean, yeah, the action scenes are just are gorgeous, and there are times where the color palette's good, like some of the stuff on like the Kent farm. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I like the way he frames stuff. I like a lot of the textures he has. I like.
See, for me, I can't remember big chunks of that film. It wasn't.
You were on one of your drinking.
Yeah. I feel like I should have been drinking when I watched it.
But this guy thinks Christopher Nolan directed it. He
Oh,
didn't.
sorry.
It was Christopher Reeves.
It was. He's right. It's Nolan and Snyder. together.
Nolan was a producer. He didn't.
Oh, he's the
He
producer.
had nothing
Okay.
to do with
Well,
it.
I'm sure he had
Sorry.
an input because it does feel like
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
It definitely feels like DC wanted to go with that vibe.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like Dark Knight. That's not a Dark Knight movie.
No, it's more than that. I mean, like definitely. I like the movie. I didn't
It's
dislike.
gritty.
I
There's
didn't-
gritty texture to it.
Yeah, and there are good parts about the movie, but there are also a lot of like bad parts. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I did not like Lois Lane at all.
Oh, I didn't like her either. I'll give you that.
Like, cause and there's like these spouts of like almost superpowers on her end. Like where I was rewatching it on HBO like a year ago or something, and it was like she's out there like in the ice area and she doesn't know anything's gonna happen, but she's looking for a story, and she just happens to like look out over the vista and she just sees like this little super tiny like guy like walking by, and it's like, how How are you going to spot that guy? You did not spot that guy from 200 friggin' miles away, and now you're like watching him go in, and then she's like all of a sudden right behind him, like getting him things like, wait a second, you're like 3 miles away from him. Like, how did you get in that cave? And it's like, but then it's cool when she gets into the cave, like what happens. That's a cool bit. But there are moments of like, and she was just a dumb character. Like, yeah.
I don't think it's as good as.
No,
make
I
it out
no.
to be.
I didn't know this was
Hold
going
on,
to turn into
but the thing is,
Man of Steel
I'm not
review.
saying that it's a great movie. I'm saying that I enjoyed it. It's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. And Superman is far more relatable than either of you guys are making him sound like.
I still like Superman,
If
but
a
I see through
motherfucker
the
pours
facade,
beer,
though.
if a motherfucker pours beer on your face and you're Superman, what are you gonna do?
I'll just take it. I'm not going to ruin his truck. I'm just going to sit here, and maybe I'll shed a tear with the girl, but I'm not going to bang her because that wouldn't be Superman-like either.
Because that might kill her too.
Dude, seriously, you would be furious at this dude pouring beer on you. For one, he's talking shit to a girl that's one of your friends, and then she's like, chill out.
So,
And you're like, okay, I'm not going to kill him.
so maybe that's the time when he loses it a little bit, and he doesn't kill the guy, but he messes him up really bad, and then you feel like, what the fuck did Superman did he just like totally put that,
All right,
cripple
man.
that guy, like he's like, you know, dead? Like, I mean, that's kind of where the end fell off, but they didn't really do anything with it, and that's where I think they needed to. That's the meat of Superman. The meat and potatoes of Superman is he's super. Yeah, he can deal with anything. Yeah, he has fucking laser vision. He can fly around. He can do anything he needs to get by stuff. Opposed by just the little, rock, right? But his real weakness is basically what moral obligations does he have to humanity? Is he need to act godly, or can he lose it like the Hulk every now and then and be like, seriously hurt somebody and be like, oh gosh, should I have done, like, let's address that point. What if he took that guy and didn't kill him but crippled him? Like, how would you feel about Superman?
Well,
Is he
actually,
a
let me
villain?
ask you that.
Is
'Cause
he an awful person?
That's super interesting to me. Is there a comic or anything that allows Superman just to be like, screw it, I'm just gonna let loose and just destroy people?
I don't really read
Sort
Superman.
of, yeah. I haven't read much of Superman.
If there isn't, that would be very interesting to me. Just to have a guy at the end of his rope and be like, I'm gonna kill everyone.
There's
in this bar
one
now.
if you read All Star Superman.
Uh-huh.
It's basically Superman pretty much has cancer. There's no way he can survive, and he's just
That's weird
like,
for Superman.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's some sort of disease, but it's like
Crypto cancer.
Yeah, pretty much. And he's basically just tying up loose ends before he dies.
Uh-huh.
And he's sort of going around. He's just sort of being like, well, I need to do this. I need to sort out, like, like Lois
Who's
Lane.
going to manage my estate when I die? Who's going to take over the
Well, no,
Fortress
he
of
does.
Solitude?
He does. He locks it up. He's like, he sticks a whole bunch of robots in there and locks it up and stuff like that. And so it's like, it is kind of funny, like, that he's just sort of like, you do get that a little bit of like, wow, what is he gonna, what is he going to do? You know?
Well, and that's the thing. So this is like the paradox with the paradox with Superman is do we treat him like human and does he have feelings to like blast off and just hurt somebody, or does he take the other side where he's just Watchman, Dr. Manhattan, and he just like thinks of us as we're so far beneath Dr. Manhattan.
He's not.
He just
smart
treats us
enough
as
for
kind
that.
of ant farm that he lives around, and he just kind
That's
of
the
goes
thing.
off
Is
and
like,
lives in
dude,
Mars.
you
You
can't,
know, like
you can't relate him to Dr. Manhattan. Those are
they are the same.
They are
character.
the same character, dude.
bullshit.
No,
bullshit.
they were
bullshit.
written the
Let
same
me tell you
pages.
this. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this.
Guys, the levels
When-
on the mics can't go that high.
When Watchmen was originally pitched, it was a DC comic. Well, it is a DC comic.
It is a DC comic.
It was originally going to be Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Yeah,
that
you
was,
didn't see
that
the
was
the
Batman
original-
in-
Awesome. Yeah. Oh, I can see that
this was
these
like
guys
going
are
to be a
plays on.
really crazy
Okay.
twist for DC. And DC were like, no way, you're not touching our characters like that. That's insane. And so they basically just split the personalities up and divide. So like Night Owl and Rorschach is basically Batman together. But it's like the two sides of Batman, you know.
Yeah.
Superman is Dr. Manhattan. Silk Spectre, I think, is like Wonder Woman.
Okay,
things
so
like that.
since
it
he's
was-
strong, they are the same character.
What's that?
They're not even remotely the same character.
They're written
they
as
made
the same guy.
character.
No,
They were
it's
originally
like-
written
because
as those
Dr.
characters.
Manhattan is written by a god who's not willing to do anything, and if you read more of Alan Moore's stuff, just like in the Swamp Thing, he's basically a god that stands on the sidelines and lets things pass. Superman is not a god. He
I know.
has a
This-
lot. Hold on.
But this is the
Let me
thing.
finish,
He's
let me
pushed it
finish.
to the top. He's pushed
I'm
it.
lucky there's not like knives here for
Dude,
stabbing.
Yeah, I know. Right?
No. Yeah, Superman is still, he can still die. What are you going to do to Dr. Manhattan? How smart is Superman?
That's the
He's
thing.
not even smart as
That's the
Batman.
thing.
He's getting beat by a mortal
It's
man.
it's that personality pushed to the limit.
Yeah.
Rorschach is basically what if Batman was just Batman all the time and no more Bruce Wayne and he was just a nutcase. So Dr. Manhattan is like, what if Superman was just a god and he was just like, that's it. There's nothing that can harm
And what
him.
is his perspective on
It's-
humanity?
Yeah, but they pushed it like so far to the limit that he's nothing like Superman in terms of personality. Like abilities, maybe. But
Yeah, he doesn't have the.
So you're
Clark Kent,
you're comparing
you know,
it more sort
ideal.
of logically than like
then where he like may have started. Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
Well,
he's
I-
saying he
hypothetically.
doesn't have like
Yeah.
the characteristics of Superman in the sense like Clark Kent is a big part of Superman too, and even though he's like the side character, but there's no Clark Kent and Dr. Manhattan, and that's true. Like that would be stupid, but you know that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he was originally written with the same kind of powers and abilities and godlike presence to us.
I do think like Superman's a really tough character to write for because
I know you
he
like
came
Superman so
from
much.
an era of like World War II, buy more war bombs, like let's give them hell, guys. You know, that sort of like mentality of like just boosting morale for troops and stuff. And so he is just invincible. He's just like this sort of like this big, like American symbol of just hope and everything like that. And so times have changed, and now like it is difficult to write a character like that without any real weaknesses. You know, and I know there's like kryptonite and everything, but like you know what I'm saying. Like there's no real like he does feel like he can do almost anything.
Yeah, he's too powerful.
And so you have to be very like. There's only very few writers that have really nailed him. You know.
Yeah.
I wish Dr. Manhattan had like a Crypto the dog character.
Yeah, you know what's funny though? Is you said like in a snarky way, like you didn't know I liked Superman. I don't like Superman, and that's why I think I was
Steve
surprised.
just likes fighting.
I absolutely love Dr. Manhattan.
You do.
He's an extremely interesting character, and I think Alan Moore has a fascination with gods that do nothing. And I know that he's like not a religious guy, at least from what I've seen of Alan Moore. He was saying he believed in like snakes or something, but
Snake people or just snakes?
yeah, like
I'm
in
curious.
like some of my favorite stuff from Swamp Thing is like he's got this part where he's talking. I can't remember what the scene is, but he's like, I could give all the widows roses. I could give all the old men strawberries, and he's like, I could replace like everything that men has done to hurt the earth. He's like, I could do it over and over again. He's like, would that make them appreciate what they have more? And he's like, no. All they would do is take endlessly, knowing that I could endlessly repair it. And so he just does nothing. And like,
So isn't that a more interesting approach to Superman? Don't you wish that Zack Snyder had taken that approach with Superman and maybe made him a little more cynical towards humanity in the sense like of we are kind of beneath him, but how does a god living among us deal with us like
Well,
that?
okay.
There's a little bit of that in the trailers for Batman vs Superman. There's
Yeah.
like that false god written all over his
Yeah.
statue.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. So they're sort of touching on it, but I get the impression it's going to be glazed over in a sense because everyone's going to see Batman. Everyone loves Batman. Everyone knows Batman.
Snyder's already came out and said that Batman's going to be like get more screen time than
And everyone wants to see that fight. That's the only reason anyone's going to see that film. And so really, it's going to miss that point. And I think Man of Steel should have been, like you say, that everyone's seen Superman's origin. Everyone knows Superman's origin. Like they shouldn't have wasted time on that. You know?
Here's
that
the
was a
thing.
really cool like scene for Krypton though. Like that was badass. Like we didn't necessarily need to go to like Smallville and all that, but like seeing him like get like shot
open
off
the
of
film.
Krypton,
Yeah.
that was a badass opening. That was
Yeah.
like really cool.
But like the Smallville growing up stuff, everyone knows all that business.
Well,
you know?
and then there's a whole other element they kind of touched on in Man of Steel, but they never really actually pushed it to its extreme, which was his relationship with his dad. He had like a relationship with his dad where his dad's like, when the bus goes into the water and he gets it out, and they say, "Oh, Clark was out there helping. They pushed the bus out of the water," and he, says, "Oh, that's bollocks." You know, and then
I know what you mean.
and then he walks outside and he tells Clark, he's like, maybe you should have let it sink. But he only says that, but there's no impact later to this man being this necessarily a super awful beast. I think they could have gone more on that mythos of
Wait, his dad being a super awful beast. What are you talking about?
Well, the fact that he's like, maybe you should have let them die.
No, because
I mean, like, that's an awful thing to say, is let a busload of children die. I mean, you have to agree.
But you've got to think about it, and you're saying, see, and this is the point, is like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about a little bit, because you're saying that there's no impact. His dad literally gives his life.
Oh, that was...
hold on. So he doesn't reveal his secret. That's how much he's down to, like he doesn't, it's not that he thinks that it's going to be a good thing to let those kids die, but he doesn't know what the impact on the world's going to be. And the impact could be huge, and we'll see in the next movie, but there is an impact, and his dad's not a bad guy.
So he whizzes across half the Earth because of this metropolis destruction thing that's pounding through the Earth. Mm-hmm. So he can fly all the way around the globe, and he can't just disappear in a big storm and put a bag on his head and come rescue his dad.
Or even pretend to
There's
ragdoll
people
himself
standing right under the thing where he's standing.
Yeah, so he couldn't just back away and just disappear.
Or the thing is even
not realistically, no.
Or the thing
realistically,
is, even just let himself ragdoll in the storm a bit, pretend like he's getting tossed around, and slide himself over towards his dad, and then just grab him and help the dad out. Like this is the thing though. But I think that's
always a way.
I think that's not even. That's not even.
It's funny though because he's got the same argument where it's like people are just not going to see it coincidentally. But that's the problem with the Spider-Man 2 movie. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of problems with. Oh no, you didn't see Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1. There's problems with that
Amazing
movie, but
Spider-Man,
he's like,
not.
Yeah. Oh, there's more problems with the other one. Don't get me started. But it's like coincidentally nobody's looking his way. His secret's out, dude.
Well,
at that point.
Here's the thing.
It's that manifest
that's
destiny
not.
thing.
I think even the right question to ask. I think the right question to ask is, what if Superman purposely lets his dad die?
He did.
Like, what if the dad is begging to be saved?
Dude, go watch the other movie.
Because the dad is no, he's not. The dad's not begging to be saved.
No, he's not begging to be saved. But
he sits and says, "Stand back, son. Sit in the overpass while I go and get covered by dust. Son. We have all this monologue to say in this dust storm. I can't believe I'm getting out, but I am." No,
his hobble was really bad.
I mean, the thing is, what if they built his dad up to be, not like maybe he's afraid of him, or maybe he's worried that his people aren't going to accept his powers, or maybe he's just worried that his son is kind of a freak. And how does Superman deal with that? What kind of question does that lead to? And then what if Superman really dislikes his dad, and his dad's begging to be saved, and Superman doesn't save his dad on purpose? Just like, I'm not going to. You're a beast. I'm not going to save you. And what is those little questions of humanity?
Those aren't little questions though.
They ask. They tell us a lot about character. They build on this more personal and more social issue of who Superman is, rather than just, I'm a fancy guy in a cape who has a little twisty fucking hair.
Yeah, and I also think
you're jealous of his hair.
Yeah.
I am.
Both these guys have been hating on him for his.
And I also think just one more point about this, because we have been hashing it out.
No, this is going to be the last topic. We're pretty much out of time. So
yeah,
so
one more point is, it is the hero's journey. Obi-Wan Kenobi sacrificed himself so the hero can, It's the same thing with his dad. I can see that, but it does feel kind of crowbarred in. It does feel sort of and the pacing is so off.
The pacing is kind of bad.
Because that scene is so out of context with the rest of the film.
Yeah.
We see him on the road, you see him in that oil rig being all manly, and then this flashback scene just in the middle of nowhere, and it's just kind of
yeah.
Why didn't we start with that? So
I just hope that for you guys that he goes shopping for handbags in the next movie, so you guys can chill the fuck out.
Here's the question for you. If you had to change something about the structure of the story,
I think there's a lot of
what you'd like to see. Yeah. That's a drastic change. What would you change?
Defend that film that you're feeling mediocre about.
Yeah, no.
I'm not
tear that film apart that you like
guys are
so much.
trying to say that I think it's a great movie, and I think it's an okay movie. If I'm gonna give it 1 through 10, I'll probably give it a 6.5, maybe a 7. But everybody makes it sound like it's this dog shit movie.
No, it was good. It was a good movie. It was fun to watch. I enjoyed it. I came out saying oh yeah, I'd probably go see that again. I thought it was fun, but I thought they didn't go as far with Superman's character as they could. And what do you think they could change to give you more character about Superman?
Dude, you're the one who's got the problems with it. You're saying, dude, don't break his truck. That's fucking douchey. And when your dad begs you to not let him die, fuck it. He wanted you to let those kids drown. Like,
But
you're
like,
confused,
It
man.
does-
it's definitely, but those are two different Superman. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Superman that like, I would like to see what his big decisions are in those moments. And the douchey truck thing, I just thought was just a dumb gag. When I saw the truck, I almost laughed in the theater. So I was like, that's kind of stupid. Like, he could have just messed up the front of the truck, punched it really bad, or like just tossed it over a cliff. But the fact that it's like crucified on these like telephone wires was funny. It was laugh out loud.
It's funny because you're like, nobody in the bar is gonna see that. Everybody under the overpass who's staring at Clark and his dad who's about to die, you're like, just run over there real quick. Nobody will see that
No,
shit.
like let himself ragdoll. But like if you had to interject a question like that, what would you interject? Like,
I actually like that they made him human for once. Like, they played with the fact that he's going to be angry. They played it like him doing the stupid thing with the truck was like him taking out his frustration from not being able to do something. You know, his dad actually asking the question, is it like maybe you should have let them die? You know, it's not that he's saying yes you should have, and you know, it's kind of like a tough situation for that guy, you know? It's like, what's going to happen to him, you know? What would the government do if they found out about an alien when like the Kents couldn't protect him?
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Like,
and it's kind of an interesting moment to think of, like a simple, and even the dad character is a fun character to like envelop more time with. Like, he's a normal guy who knows he's not as special as his son, but you still feel like you should nurture this kid and give him some of your knowledge, even though you're like, how am I going to give him something?
yeah.
You know, being just a normal human who I'm so far beneath this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this guy can
So
throw
that's
my
kind of- that's
tractor
kind of a-
across my farm.
Honestly, the dad from On Earth is so much more interesting than Space Dad.
Yeah.
Than,
I just can't believe I'm getting this much heat from him, who thinks Sucker Punch is a good movie and has a,
I do
has
think
a
Sucker
good
Punch is
story.
a good movie.
Dude, don't even start. That's a
I'm not
whole
gonna-
other
that's a
hour.
whole other
Sucker
subject.
Punch.
He thinks it's a good story. I think it's enjoyable.
I actually haven't seen Sucker Punch.
Oh,
But
no.
I've heard everyone about it. I haven't seen
So
it.
you can watch
One last-
it and debate Mitch next time.
Yeah, I'll be grilled next time. One last thing on Superman. The trailer was better than the film.
Yeah, it had the.
Yeah.
It might have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was better than the movie too. The soundtrack
Yeah, oh
was
yeah,
fucking
oh yeah.
incredible.
All right.
Muscles were better than the man.
I just hope if he lifts stuff, he does it behind a sheet this time. Because if I see him ripple, I'm out. I'm not in for this jock mentality.
All right.
All right.
Well, on that note.
I hear the music coming on in.
All right, join us on Mixcloud.
Yes.
.com/PixelWankers, Facebook, PixelWankers, everything PixelWankers, website, PixelWankers.com,
And YouTube's.
and
Yeah.
YouTube.
And give us
And
your comments
Facebook.
too. Like, if you feel like I'm
If
right,
you think
comment about it. But if you
Steve
think
loves
Steve's
this
wrong,
movie.
don't.
Yeah.
People are gonna be like, he must think it's a 10. He's defending it adamantly.
No, but comment. Let us know what your thoughts were about the show, and if you think we are totally wankers about it, or if you agree with what we said.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank you.